We tend to picture the Greek gods as serene, flawless figures carved from pristine white marble. But the earliest myths tell a different story. These deities were driven by the same chaotic, sweating, flesh-and-blood desires as the humans who worship them. Take the pinnacle of Olympian scandal, Aphrodite, the goddess of love, locked in a passionate, illicit affair with Ares, the god of war. The danger in their romance didn't come from the battlefield. It came from the husband they were humorheavy in secret. Hephaestus, the master blacksmith of the gods, walked with a heavy limp and harbored a brilliant, non-violent thirst for revenge. He didn't raise a sword against them. Instead, he forged a net of incredibly fine, unbreakable iron. He rigged it above his own bed, snapping shut right as the lovers fell into each other's arms, and then called the entire pantheon of gods to stand around the bed and laugh at them. This scandal establishes a recurring tension in Greek myth. Desire rarely stays a private affair between two people. There is almost always a third party watching, and where there is a witness, there is usually a trap. This pattern of a catastrophic third wheel repeats throughout the ancient world. It begins in the shadows, with a mortal princess named Myrrha harboring a taboo obsession. From that dark origin came a boy of captivating beauty named Adonis. He was so striking that Aphrodite claimed him to raise as her own, but she handed him off to Persephone, the goddess of the underworld, who also fell in love with him. Two powerful deities were suddenly locked in a bitter custody battle over a single mortal. Zeus tried to settle the dispute with fractions. He ordered that Adonis would spend a third of his year below ground and the rest up above. Math rarely satisfies jealousy. A jealous third party, either Ares or Artemis, depending on the teller, decided to break the compromise entirely. They sent a massive wild boar into the forest to hunt the hunter, goring Adonis to death. Aphrodite raced to his side, but she was too late. Where his blood soaked the earth and where her tears fell beside him, the first red anemones and roses bloomed. Far away, high on the ridges of Mount Ida, Hera thought her husband Zeus's serial infidelity differently. Borrowing Aphrodite's magical belt, she seduced Zeus on the peak, distracting him entirely from the Trojan War below. In Hera's hands, love and desire were stripped of their romance. They became cold, calculated weapons, deployed to manipulate the ruler of the gods and shift the balance of a global war. Sometimes mortals trigger the wrath of the heavens simply by existing. A human girl named Psyche was born so stunningly beautiful that people stopped worshipping Aphrodite and began worshipping her instead. Aphrodite demanded Psyche's ruin, sending her own son, Eros, to do the job. The plan collapsed the moment he laid eyes on her. The god of love fell in love. He hid Psyche away, visiting her only in total darkness to keep his identity a secret. He asked for blind trust, but doubt crept into Psyche's mind. One night she lit a lamp to finally see his face, and her trembling hand spilled a single drop of burning oil onto his shoulder. Eros woke in agony and instantly fled. Left alone and desperate, Psyche was dragged before a furious Aphrodite, who forced her through a brutal gauntlet of impossible, deadly tasks as punishment. The friction in their romance came from the outside. Aphrodite acted as a jealous architect of their misery, demanding submission to her divine authority. When you zoom out and look at the sheer scale of these myths, a question emerges. Why did the ancient Greeks trace a civilizational collapse like the Trojan War back to a domestic dispute between Helen, Paris, and Menelaus? They built impenetrable walls. They launched fleets of warships. Entire generations of young men were wiped out in the dirt. All of it over one stolen wife. The mismatch between the geopolitical destruction and the personal slight is staggering. To the people who told these stories, the math made perfect sense. They understood that an invading army could be reasoned with, or bought, or beaten, but a human heart consumed by jealousy will burn the entire world to the ground without a second thought. These myths depict gods descending from the heavens to wear humanity's most broken, vulnerable flaws. We keep returning to the invisible golden nets, the mountaintop seductions, and the tragic bloodstains because they reflect a recognizable truth. They endure because they are as messy,